Hi guys, it's Mrs. Kemp here again, and today we're going to be doing some division. We're going to be looking at a method that's commonly known as the bus stop method. This is a second level video. It's aimed at people in primary 6 and 7. And towards the end of the video, the super hot and inferno levels, we're really looking at the next step in division. So don't worry if these levels are too challenging for you. At the end of the video, there will be some questions that you can have a go at, and at the very end I'll pop the answers up. Remember, you can pause the video at any point and have a go at the questions along with me, and then start it playing off again to see if you have got the hang of it. Enjoy! Okay, we're going to start with this one. 570 divided by 5. All right. We're going to write it out like a bus stop. 5 there and 570 underneath. Remember, division is finding out how many times a number goes into something else. So how many times does 5 go into 570 if you're counting up? But the other way to think of it is 570 shared between 5 equal groups. How many would each group have? Because we've not done it for a while, I'm going to give you a visual to get started. We've got 5 hundreds, we've got 7 tens, and we've got no ones. So we can have a look and see. 5 into 5, we can make one group there. So we put the 1 up here. 5 into 7 or 70. Got a group of 5, but 2 left over. So we've got 1 and 2 that come into the ones here to make now 20. So we've now, if we wanted to draw it in, we've got 20 ones over here. 5 into 20, let's have a look. We've got a group of 5. Another group of 5, another group of 5, and a final group of 5. We've got 4 groups of 5. So 5 into 570 goes 114 times. And we can always check, because the opposite of division is multiplication, and we can all do that because that's what we did last week. If we check 114 times 5, 4 times 5 is 20, 1 times 5 is 5, add on the 2, 7, and 1 times 5 is 5. And we've got back to our starting number of 570. The place value counters, whether you're drawing them or using physical ones, are really, really helpful. But as you start to get into larger numbers, you end up having to draw an awful lot of them. So it's useful to start having a think about how you can use your multiples to do them without drawing them out. So our question is going to be 4,284 divided by 7. We'll write it out inside its bus stop. The 7 on the outside. The number that you're dividing by always goes on the outside. Now, when you get to this stage, if you're not confident with some of your tables, it's a good idea to write them out first so that you're able to focus on the division. Here are the 7 times tables written out down the side, ready for the next step. Let's have a look first of all. 7 into 4 doesn't go. So we would need to carry it over. Because it's already written there, we don't need to write it next to the 2 because it's already written there next to the 2. So we're looking now at 7 into 42, and we can see from our times tables down the side, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times exactly. Okay, now be really careful. You don't want to write the 6 over the 4, okay, because that's not where it was happening. We want to write it over the 200, the 6 there. Okay, next we're looking at 7 into 8. That's an easy one. It goes once, and there is 1 left over. And here for the 14, an easy one again, goes exactly twice, and there is nothing left over. So 4,284 divided by 7 is 612. Quick check, to make sure that it multiplies back out. We haven't made any mistakes. 2 times 7 is 14, 1 times 7 is 7, add the 1 is 8, and 6 times 7 is 42. Super, there we go. Okay, moving on. This time we're going to look at 2,731 divided by 2. Set up our bus stop, the 2 on the outside and the 2,731 underneath. Okay, we're hopefully confident with our 2 times table, so I'm not going to write them out down the side. Let's get started. 2 into 2 goes once. 2 into 7, well 2, 4, 6 goes 3 times with 1 left over. 2 into 13 goes 6 times, gets us to 12 and 1 left over. And 2 into 11 goes 5 times. Now there's still 1 left over and we've got to the end. All right. So previously when we were in primary 5 and 6, we would have written a remainder 1. There's 1 left over, there's 1 remaining. But now that we're in primary 7, we're upping our game a bit and we're learning what to do next with that 1. So hopefully you can remember, we finished off with our whole numbers here and we're now looking at parts of numbers. So we are putting in a decimal point and a placeholder 0, you can call him Fo again, after that decimal point, and that's where we carry our remainder to. So we're now looking at 2 into 10, which is nice and simple. It goes in 5 times and there's nothing left now. So that is our finished calculation. So 2,731 divided by 2 gives you 1,365.5, or 1,365 and a half. When we've checked with our multiplication, we can see that we have got it right. Okay, next let's do 7,946 divided by 8. All right, pop out our bus stop. There's the 8 on the outside and the 7,946 underneath. I'm just going to write the 8s out quickly. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72 and 80. It's a really good time just now to be practicing your times table. So if you're finding you're needing to do this quite a lot, it's a really, really good time to practice, especially if it's just 1 or 2 times tables that you're finding tricky. Okay, 8 into 7 doesn't go. So we're looking at 8 into 79. Now we're going to be right up here. Okay, it goes in 9 times. And between 72 and 79, there's a difference of 7. So there's 7 left over. Okay, now we're looking 8 into 74. Well, it's here again. 74. But this time, there's only 2 left over. Okay, 8 into 26 goes 3 times. And the difference is 2. So we're going to put a decimal point. We've run out of whole numbers. Our placeholder 0. And we're going to carry our 2. 8 into 20 now we're looking. Well, twice. And we've got another remainder this time. We're not done yet. There's still 4 left over. So we just add another placeholder 0 and put our 4. 8 into 40, oh, I think we might have got there. Goes exactly 5 times and there's nothing left over. So 7,946 divided by 8 is 993.25, or 993 and a quarter. Let's just check that we can go back the other way. 0.25 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 2 times 8 is 16. Add the 4 is 20. Let's put our decimal place in. Can you see there our 2 placeholder zeros are coming back into play, and our ones that we've carried are working back across as well. 3 times 8 is 24. Add the 2 is 26. There's our 6, look, and our 2 that we'd carried going the other way. 9 times 8 is 72, add the 2 is 74, and finally 9 times 8 again, 72, add the 7 is 79, and we're back at our starting number. We've been working with some numbers that don't divide equally in this way, and we're just going to have a look now at what to do with those numbers. So let's have a look at 743 divided by 3. Set up a bus stop. Number you're dividing by on the outside. Okay. 3 into 7 goes twice, and we've got 1 left over to carry. 3 into 14 goes 4 times up to 12, and we have got 2 left over. And then 3 into 23 goes 7 times, okay, up to 21, and now we've got to carry again. We've got 2 to carry over here. And don't forget to put your decimal at the top. 3 into 20, well, 3 times 6 is 18. We've got 2 left over again, new placeholder 0, and we carry our 2. 3 into 20, whoa, we'll go 6 times again, and we need to keep carrying our 2. So what's going to keep happening? Every time we're going to have 3 going in 6 times, we're going to have 2 left over, and it's going to keep repeating. The way that we symbolise that is just by putting a dot over the number that's repeating, and that's just mathematical language for saying that this will just keep happening. It will just keep going because we can't divide it equally in this way. Sometimes we have numbers that it takes much longer to work out whether we're going to be able to divide them exactly, or if that repeating number pattern is going to happen. Let's have a look at this one. 5,643 divided by 7. Okay, let's set it out over here. I'm setting it out, leaving plenty of space. All right, I'm going to write our 7s out. I'm just going to write them sideways this time because we're going to need the space down the side. 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, and 70. Okay, 7 into 5 doesn't go, so we're looking then at 7 into 56. It's a nice easy start, goes exactly 8 times. Make sure you line it up correctly. Then we've got 7 into, well, we've only got a 4 here now, which isn't going to work. So we need to put a 0. Okay, it's a placeholder 0. We could have put 1 at the start here as well, but because it's right at the start, it doesn't have a value, so it's not necessary. But in the middle of a number here, it is necessary. Otherwise, it looks like our 10s or our 1s are in the wrong place. So now we're looking at 7 into 43. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, well, here's 6 times 7 is 42. And we're going to have 1 left over, so we need our decimal point, and we'll start to put our placeholder in. We've got 1 left. 7 into 10, well, that just goes once, and we've got 3 left over this time. I'm going to pop a few of these placeholder zeros in, just to help me remember that they need to keep coming. And it doesn't really matter if you end up with too many of them down there, because you can just rub them out or ignore them at the end. Okay, 7 into 30. Okay, well, there's 28, so it goes 4 times, and there's 2 still left over to get us up to 30. 7 into 20 here. So 2 times 7 is 14. But there's another 6 left over before we get to 20. 7 into 60. Let's have a look. Okay, this is the last one that we can get to. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 7. But there's another 4 left over to get us up. 7 into 40. Okay, there's 35. That's as close as we can get without going past it. So that's 5 times. And we've got 5 left over. We're still going to need another placeholder 0 there. 7 into 50. There we go. 7 times. We've got 1 left over. Okay. 7 into 10 goes once. 3 left over. Into 30, 28 goes 4 with 2 left over. Now hopefully you can start to see that what's happening here is the same as was happening here. So what's going to happen now is that this sequence just keeps repeating. And we can look and see where it started to repeat. And it started to repeat in here. Can you see? That's where it started the first time, and then it was different every time until it got back and it started doing the 1 and the 3 and the 2 again. Which means that this sequence here is going to just repeat over and over and over and over and over, no matter how far we go for. Just like when we put a single dot above the one number that is repeating, if it's a pattern of numbers that's repeating, instead of putting just a single dot, we put a dot at the start of the pattern and a dot at the end of the pattern. And those dots just mean that this pattern will just keep repeating. Okay, we don't put it at this over here by the 8 because that part isn't repeating. That's done. It's the part after the decimal point that is going to keep repeating. So if we were writing our answer in, and this is a step up, don't worry if this isn't quite sort of slipping into place for you. This is a super hot challenge. If we were writing our answer in, we would say 5,643 divided by 7 is 806.142857. We would put our dots over the top to show that that was going to keep repeating. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video now, the answers will pop up in a second. Here are the answers for you to have a check. How did you get on?